Hey there guys, what's going on? Today we've got the top 5 class setups in Modern Warfare with the latest patch 1.08. These won't be in any order, so if your favourite class setup isn't at the top or in this list at all, do not worry, all is well in the universe. I'm also excluding the 725 shotgun because it's still busted as hell, so don't get any ideas. Wise guy, put that shotgun down. Bad Call of Duty man, bad boy. Also, if we could get an enormously over-the-top like target of 1 like by Wednesday, I'll definitely be uploading a new video anyway, so you don't really have to worry about it. Actually though, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with the notifications turned on, or else I will be in your games on Shoot House with the 725, so go on, push it, or I will know. Okay, so I'll go over my perk and grenade choices first because they're very much the same for every loadout, but this is again up to you. Personal preference is very important in this game and is usually very important in games like this, so take this with a grain of salt. If you like something else, that doesn't mean what I choose or what you choose is worse. Just, you know, pick whatever you like. It's up to you basically. But I tend to go with EOD or Overkill, but because nobody likes getting killed with the 725 shotgun, please don't use the Overkill shotgun. Like, don't be that guy. EOD even stops you from getting killed by grenades and claymores and stuff, so choose that instead. Perk 2, I tend to go with Ghost, or you can also pick Kill Chain, which is really strong, especially if you tend on getting those higher kill streaks and you want to get those chopper gunners and they get the big planey boys that come in and shoot everything down. You get those sorted and you just chain all these kill streaks. It's very powerful. So up to you with what you tend to go with. You can also choose Hardline if you're more that way inclined. Up to you again. Again, like I said before, choice is up to you as long as you don't pick Overkill. We won't have a problem. And the third perk, I started to go away from Shrapnel a little bit just because that extra piece of lethal equipment is not as useful anymore. Now that the claymores aren't as good, the extra piece of lethal equipment isn't as good anymore, so battle hardened or tune up just for that increased charge time on your field upgrade, or the reduction to enemy flashes and stuns, which are super strong in this game. So you'll want that if you're playing like more of a rushy objective game mode. You got your hard point and stuff like that. You'll want battle hardened just to try and keep those flashes and stuns like affecting you as little as possible. Okay, so starting us off here with my favorite gun to use at the moment, the MP7. This thing is an absolute headshot machine, and it very much reminds me from the MP7 from Modern Warfare, which is my favorite Call of Duty of all time. It's one of the ones that I played the most, like I had many hours in that game, so it was very fond and very much still in my heart. I want to go back to those days because that was the best Call of Duty in my opinion. So having something feel as good as one of the best guns in Call of Duty history is pretty great. Like, the MP7 does feel very strong in this game. The fire rate is just nutty. It's just a fantastic gun to use up close, but still feels strong enough at range, like the old MP7 from Modern Warfare 3. With the attachments, you want to just slap on the monolithic suppressor for that increased damage range. Your barrel can either be the recon barrel or the strike barrel, FSS strike or FSS recon. The difference here is the damage range, bullet velocity, and the aim down sight speed, or you can transfer that to the recoil control, but you lose a little bit of movement speed. With the SMGs in this game, you do move quite quickly anyway, so this difference is kinda a bit negligible. Like, it's up to you, really. I tend to go with the recon barrel just for that slightly increased range. That recoil control makes it a little bit easier to stay on target. It's not a lot of recoil, but the recon barrel should do you quite a good job. You're not very likely to need an optic with this gun. The iron sights are very clean. With the stock, you're going to want to go with no stock. It looks pretty goofy, and having no stock be the option for your stock is pretty funny. But yeah, it just looks like this. It's a bit weird. You can also go with the ultralight if you're really keen, or that ADS speed improvement, but mostly no stock just for that aim down sight speed and the movement speed. You just get everything on target, get your gun up, start moving, sprinting around the map a lot better. So I tend to go with no stock just because it's a lot of fun to use. The stipple grip tape is also one that I tend to go with on a lot of weapons just because that aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed being so important in this game. You got to get those sights up, got to get those bullets down range, and when your gun shoots as quickly as the MP7 does, you want to be starting shooting as quickly as possible. And with the last attachment, I tend to go with the sleight of hand perk. Just get you those reloads on that 40 round magazine a little bit quicker. With the extended mags and stuff like that, 50 round and 60 round mags, I mean, it's got 40 rounds in the mag anyway, so it's sort of not a massive deal. You probably want that sleight of hand over these two boys with the aim down sight speed reduction, so you might be better off going a sleight of hand over the increased magazine size. But as with most of the guns and attachments that I'm about to go over in this game, you can pretty much choose whatever you like for the last slot, or in general, just choose whatever attachments you really want to. If you want to increase your ADS speed to maximum, you choose all those attachments and you have a great time. Like, you want extra range, you can get away with that too. You want no recoil, you can get attachments that do that for you. So it's one of the best features of this game, no doubt. Okay, so the second spot on our list goes to the AK-47. This gun does big damage at long ranges, and that's why it makes this list. Of course, you can also choose different guns that do sort of damage at long range, but I think this sort of, because it's a 7.62 rifle, it holds its sort of damage a little bit better than some of the 5.56 rifles. It just shoots a little bit further. It just feels like you're doing more damage over longer ranges, which is always good on sort of maps with those longer sight lines. So if sort of those big straight verticals on those maps, you want to be sitting it there posted up with the AK if you're really, really good. Like, if you're looking for that AK shot, man, you just kill people from decent range. It's like a sniper, but you just shoot many, many bullets. It's great. So much fun. The AK in most games, though, is seemingly quite hard to use. Does big damage, but had nutty recoil to compensate. But you can reduce some of that recoil by using the attachments that I've chosen here. The monolithic suppressor, which is a prize to no one for your muzzle. The Romanian barrel, which is actually pretty late unlock. It's like probably one of the last things you unlock for the AK, but because it's right down the end, it's just going to take a long time to unlock that bad boy. But you can also get away with using the RPK barrel and the Spetsnaz Elites. They do similar things with having similar effects, but the Romanian barrel is just going to keep you on target and do that extra, give you that extra damage range over some of these other ones. You can see the little bars there. There is actually a difference. They do move at quite a long way with some of these attachments. So you want that Romanian barrel. But like I said, it is quite a late unlock, so you're sort of going to be waiting for that for a little while. I find the sights on the AK make it seem like it has less recoil. Like, if you just use an iron sight on this bad boy, it feels better than if you use one of the optics. But just so you can stay on target a little bit better and just be a bit more consistent, I feel like what I just said is a bit of a placebo effect. So it shouldn't actually make a difference having the optic on there. You'll only lose a little bit of ADS speed, and I tend to go with the GI Mini Reflex or the... Where is it? Is it on here? Is it here somewhere? The Cronin Mini Reflex is one I like as well. It's very clean, lets you have good sights on the target. So if you are so inclined to use an optic, you can use one of those two. But typically I do like the iron sights on this as well, so you can swap that attachment out for pretty much something in here apart from like an underbarrel, which doesn't let you use because of the Romanian barrel. And this is probably the best attachment in the game, just for sure, like sheer weight of numbers. The skeleton stock, if it was on any other guns or most of the guns in the game, it would literally be the only stock that gets used. Like, this is the best attachment in the game. It's so great. I think it's on a couple of other guns as well. I can't really remember which ones though. I know it's on the AK though, because we're looking at it right now. But yeah, the aim, walking, movement speed, and the ADS speed are so important for this. Like, that's such a strong attachment, so you can't really get away with using anything else here. Like, you can, of course, use no stock or some of the other ones, but skeleton stock's just so strong, man. It just gives you too much bonus to sort of give away, so you always got to use that skeleton stock. And of course, like most of the other guns that we're about to talk about, you do want that stipple grip tape. The granulated grip tape and the rubberized grip tape are both quite good for different reasons, but that ADS speed and the sprint to fire speed is very important in this game, and if it was an attachment in literally any other Call of Duty, it would be the only one that is used. So it's like quick draw. Quick draw being like the only thing that anyone ever used back in the day, so stipple grip tape is very strong. And as I said already, you can use an optic if you feel like you need that extra confidence with the sight, or you can go with sleight of hand. Sleight of hand, very strong with those reloads. Also interested to see if the 5.45 times 39mm 30 round mags are any good. That'd be kind of interesting to see the fire rate increase in the aiming recoil control minus the damage and range. I mean, you are using this at longer ranges, like mid to long ranges, so you can get that full damage over range. But if you're looking for more like something a bit closer up, you can try this. I'm not 100% sure exactly how it goes, so it might be a little bit interesting to try out. It might be something fun to use, get up and close and personal with the AK sprint around, be an absolute madman. But yeah, that's the AK. It's pretty great. Me liking the AK. It's very fun. Such a great gun. Love it at the moment. Awesome weapon. Third on our list goes to the MP5, which I did make a video about on Friday. So if you do need more detail, there will be a link at the end of this video. This thing is a complete monster in this game. You slap on that 10mm ammo into your gun, and you can just choose whatever you like other attachments wise from there. Like, I mostly go with the attachments that speed me up and give me increased range. That includes the integral Some of these words are not difficult to say, but if you try and say them quickly, you just cannot say them. So the integral suppressor barrel, the collapsible stock, the stipple grip tape, and sleight of hand. There isn't really much else to say about this thing. It just can feel a little bit underwhelming until you get to level 24 with that 10mm ammo. So if you do stick with it and you're not having a great time, just know that once you level it up a little bit, even if you have a double XP token for a little while, if you use it on the MP5 to get to level 24, you'll start doing way better with this gun. It's good beforehand, but once you get it, it's so great. Like, having that increased damage, like you can see how much the damage goes up. The little green bar slides up quite a lot. So you get that increased damage and that increased range. You don't really notice the recoil too much. The fire rate is a little bit slower, so it does make it a little bit worse than, say, the MP7 at close range. But if you're sort of medium range engagements, you'll do very well. And you should outgun a lot of assault rifles at that range. Like, this is just such a great gun for sort of medium to short range gunfight. So on Shoot House, if you're sort of staying on the longer sides and sort of keeping your sight lines quite long-ish, I mean, it's not a very big map, but if you're keeping it like quite long-ish, you should do very well with the MP5. Very good gun. If there wasn't the M4 in this game and the 725, if they weren't as broken as they have been and nerfed repeatedly, people would be talking about this thing way more. People would be complaining about this rather than like the M4 being busted and then the 725 being busted. If those guns weren't as stupid as they are, this would be the gun that people would be complaining about, because it's just, everyone would be using this. There'd be no competition, MP5, just sprinting around, just shooting everybody, just stupid speed, just so great. Like, such a great gun, and it's very fun to use. Me like it a lot. Okay, so fourth on our list is the Kilo 141. This gun does remind me a lot of the ACR from previous Call of Duty games, and it is a very steady and doesn't really have any recoil. It's basically a bit of a laser, and the damage at range is quite good. It's not so great up close because the fire rate isn't as high as some of the better close range guns. But if you do position yourself correctly and post up behind something and sort of take good positions, like, you should be doing some serious work with this bad boy. It's really good to use. It's very similar to the ACR, as I remember. So it's a laser pretty much. My best setup for the Killer uses the monolithic suppressor, which I know must come as a shock to you, given that it has been on every gun so far. The Syngard Arms 19.8-inch Prowler barrel. And you can also use the SOCOM option, which has similar properties. So if you see here, the Prowler and the SOCOM have very similar properties, whereas the Prowler gives you a bit more range, whereas the SOCOM barrel doesn't take away that movement speed. So tend to use the Prowler more often, just because it increases just the stats a little bit more than the SOCOM. So movement speed isn't something you typically have to worry about with it, like assault rifles like these, especially, like I said, if you take good position and post up on decent places, you'll do better with the Prowler if you're playing that way. But if you're trying to look for getting up close and personal, you sort of maybe want to go with the SOCOM. But yeah, like I said, that is up to you. Choice is very important in this game. So if you're more rushy, you want the SOCOM. If you're more slower, want to post up on people, just wait for them to come, you want that Prowler. And sort of the last three attachments can basically be put on anything you like. You can go with an optic, you can go with the stock, you can put a laser on it if you're feeling a bit cheeky. You get the underbarrel with the Commando foregrip, which is the one that I usually use. You can get a 100-round drum mag if you're feeling a bit stupid, like that's going to look hilarious if you get that. Stipple grip tape, sort of not really required, but still one of the better attachments that you can choose, and maybe pick that over one of the sights if you're feeling that way inclined. This iron sights are quite good on this map. They're not amazing, or on this gun, they're not amazing, but you can sort of get away with not using a sight if you feel like it. But if you're more confident with an optic, you can always choose that and ditch the grip tape or sleight of hand or ultra forged tack light. Quite good there. You can also go with the no stock just if you want to be a little bit faster. So if you're going for something a bit more aggressive, you go no stock, get the stipple grip tape, get the laser on, and just sort of spray people around corners and stuff like that. But it's not really designed for that, so sort of up to you if you do want to go down that road. That's like a mixture between road and route. It's not really any of the words I wanted to say. Your stock choice, as I mentioned, can be up to playstyle, so I've already gone over this just a little bit, but you can sort of choose no stock, close quarter stock, Syngard Arms, not really that one, not so much, it doesn't really do much for you. But I typically go with the ultralight or the no stock just for those increased options either way. But yeah, as I said already, with the number of attachments you can go here, you do have a lot of options. Choice is yours. Sleight of hand is probably one that I'll always take on guns like these. You just want those bullets back in that magazine as quickly as you can. And that's pretty much it. That's why I love the KILD at the moment. It's pretty simple. You just slap on the couple of barrel on the muzzle and then you sort of pick from there. It's not really too big of a deal what you go with. You'll get the job done either way. And last is something a little bit different. Sniping in this game is actually super, super enjoyable once you get the right attachments. Aim down sight speed on a stock sniper rifle, particularly the AX50, isn't amazing. It's not super, super slow as I thought it once was, but it's not aggressively fast. But you can make it amazing. Like, it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes with the various super strong up close weapons in this game, like the 725 and the MP7, people running around with those. It makes it hard to snipe. But the fully kitted out AX50 for ADS speed is hilariously good time. Like, it's super, super fun. If you are looking for hitting clips and joining FaZe Clan as soon as possible, you should probably look no further than this bad boy. You grab the 17-inch factory barrel for that increased aim down sight speed and movement speed. You do lose a little bit of bullet velocity, but we don't worry about that too much if we are sprinting around, having a great time. That tack laser, just that ADS speed, doesn't actually show up like the other guns do. You have to actually ADS for it to come up, which is a bit weird, but you don't have to worry about it too much. Just that ADS speed is all you're after. No optic. You don't really want to choose a different optic. You can also choose the 3x, the VLK 3x for that ADS speed, but not really looking for that distance. Like, it's a bit tricky. You're not really after decreasing your zoom level as a sniper. The SingGuard Arms Assassin, which might take you a little while to get, but it does increase your aim down sight speed, and that's all we're really looking for. Focus is very important in this as well. You increased control when you get shot, so your flinch resistance, basically. Those perks previous games that don't let you flinch as much, you want this here because it's very, very powerful. You will still flinch a bit, but it's not as much as it would be. Like, you get shot without focus and you basically get sent to the roof. It's unplayable, like unshootable. You don't do anything if you get shot when you don't have focus. It's stupid. And of course, everyone's favorite grip tape, the stipple grip tape, gives you that ADS speed and sprint to fire speed. That's all you want. That's all we're looking for with this bad boy. You just get those sights up and start clicking away at people's heads. It's so, so good. This will be especially effective, and this will be especially effective on everyone's favorite map, Euphrates Bridge or whatever it's called. Like, if you're into sniping, that map is actually so, so great. If you're not into sniping, it's pretty shit. But for sniping, that's probably one of the best sniping maps that they've made in a while. It's so, so good for sniping. You see people sitting on the bridge, you hit those guys, you move around to the side of the bridge, hit the guys sitting in the long tunnels. It's good. I like it for sniping, but other than that map's not very good. But yeah, this should be a go-to setup if you are looking for quick scoping and sniping in this Call of Duty. It's great fun, and it is something a little bit different from the shotguns and SMGs and assault rifles that everybody else is using. Alrighty, that will wrap up our list here. I know I've missed some great guns in the game, notably the M4A1, the M13, the P90, the PKM, and a few others, but I did want to keep this video short and sweet as possible while having some good information in it. Let me know what your favourite gun is in Modern Warfare at the moment. I would love to hear about it. Remember, if you do hit that like goal on a video, I was definitely going to upload the video anyway, so don't worry about it too much. Thank you very much for watching, dudes. Bye!